Xavier Flores, 396-400.
Hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Xavier Flores, inmate number 396-400. He is serving a sentence of 12 years, execution suspended after 4 years, followed by 5 years probation for 3 counts sale of narcotic substance. As of today, records reflect the parole failure date of April 20th, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs. None. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT fall within high range of its recidivism. So this is your opportunity to express the report. Well, may begin.
Sorry, I couldn't hear. It was distorted on my end.
Sorry. So you can tell us why you think you deserve parole, sir.
I've been incarcerated for the past 2 years, and I was fighting other serious charges, and I feel like I've come to the conclusion with my mistake. And after going to NA and stuff, I realized that I was hurting more than just myself by being an addict and supporting other people's habits to support mine. And I just feel that my time has been a life lesson that I would not, to tell you the truth, happen again. And I just want to see my family again. You know, I haven't seen my family in over 3 years. Through video visits, I just want to get that emotional feeling and touch again with them.
I get it. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
And you know, I just want to go and continue my education, continue my religious services. I've been going to church for the past 2 years. I've only missed probably like 3 services due to court appointments. You know, I've learned Arabic in my time that I've been here. You know, I've learned how to cope with my anger, and I've learned a lot from more experienced inmates on how to try to look for help instead of looking for other people's acceptance.
Yeah, that's a grown-up thing. So, Mr. Flores, we appreciate your opening statement, and we're going to ask you some questions. When we're done with the questions, we will deliberate and give you our decision, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. And I thank you for your patience while we took that brief recess. So, Mr. Flores, do you understand you have the highest drug score that DOC has? You have a 5, which means you have a serious issue with substances. Do you know that?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
On my paper it says a 3.
Did I write the wrong number? No, I have 5.
I have 5 as well.
Okay, I probably have an outdated one then, sorry.
So, thank you. So for us to come before the parole board and not have participated in any kind of addiction services programming with that kind of a drug score really does, it really doesn't jive well with us, because we need to see that you've addressed it somehow. Do you do NA or AA?
Yes, I do. I do NA every Wednesday at 6:30.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
I just recently got here on the 19th, so this is my 3rd session.
So what were you doing before that?
I was actually fighting manslaughter charges at McDougal.
Okay. So you weren't doing NA while you were there?
You had to be sentenced in order to do any groups over there.
Right. I do see that you just recently were sentenced. And so tell me what this ticket is about in June for security tampering and interfering.
So I was using the restroom, and as I told the parole officer, I had a cover because there was a female on the block, so I had it covered enough so that she could look in and see that everything was okay. But the person that I was roomed with was being very belligerent and obscene to her. So I was telling her, if you give me a moment, I can get up and take it off, but I don't want to get up while I'm have fecal matter still on me. So when I got up, I wiped myself, I got up, I took the blind down, and she said, okay, thank you. But the control had already called for the lieutenant. And prior to that afternoon, 3 of the inmates that I was in the same dormitory with had went into the center corridor and had a altercation with another inmate from the other side. So tensions was high. So when he came in, he said, who was it? And I was already at the door. And I was like, I was using the bathroom and I had it covered. And he's like, okay, so you're gonna go to SEG? And I'm like, that's understandable. But why is it that when you walk by and other people have it, you pick and choose the day? And he just said, it doesn't matter. You were acting belligerent and this thing.
Well, you said that was your cellmate, but you know what the rules are, and you know that the rules,
yes,
one of the rules,
yes.
you're not supposed to have it covered. So he rightfully so gave you a ticket, and whoever decides that they want to do the paperwork does it, and who doesn't, they don't. So that's what it is. A rule is a rule.
Yes.
It's not the lieutenant's fault. It's
no,
your fault.
I understand that. I understand that.
All right, so that's one thing. So now let's talk about your 2 failed attempts out in the community. So, excuse me, I see that you had 2 violations of probations, one in 2013 and one in 2015. Why weren't you able to comply with probation?
2 violations. I only had one in 2012. I went to.
Go ahead.
Or 2012 because I went, or 2013 if I'm not mistaken, because
that's what I just said.
I was going to my probations at all times, and I never went.
You know, you violate your probation when you get new charges. Do you know that?
No, I understand that, but
so if you show up for court, if they give you a court date and you don't show up for the date, you get a failure
the failure to appear. Yes, that yeah. And I paid a $2,000 fine for that one. And
but why don't you go to court? Like, I don't understand the like. So this is how it looks to us.
No, I understand.
It looks as if you've been out in the community and you weren't able to complete your probation successfully. You have this disciplinary infraction for not following the rules. You have a high drug score with no programs that you've completed. And then you rate out in terms of risk to recidivate as a high risk. So that means that 9 times out of 10, you'll be back either for another sales or another violation or another something, because right now you're struggling with following the rules. So I appreciate what it is that you're trying to say, and I also appreciate the fact that you're accepting responsibility for your actions. I just don't think that there's enough here in your favor to support saying, yes, let's give them a chance at discretionary parole. There isn't. You have your tickets, you have your no programs, you have your failed attempts out there. I'm just repeating myself at this point, but I want you to understand what it is that I'm saying to you, that there's not enough here to say that Mr. Flores is a good risk. So for me, I'm not going to support your request today. Okay? Mr. Rodriguez.
Madam Chair, thank you. I don't really have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chance?
I agree with what you had said, Madam Chair, because those are the reasons I have.
Okay. So with regard to Xavier Flores 396400, there's a motion to deny your request for discretionary parole based on your lack of program participation and inadequate evidence of offender change in the nature and circumstance of your convictions. Is there anything else? Yeah. All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, Mr. Flores, you'll receive this in writing. We had several reasons that we could have added to our list of denials, but we just chose 2. So I appreciate your coming down today, and you do have probation to follow your sentence. So I hope that you are successful there. All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Good luck, Mr. Flores.
This concludes the hearing for Xavier Flores, inmate number 396.
A Norwalk man gets 4 years in prison. Xavier Flores pled guilty to selling fentanyl-laced cocaine that killed 3. The overdose deaths happened in April of 2020 on Stanford's East Side.
Right. And clearly no one on this board thought to bring up all those people that he killed because of selling that. It blows my mind. How do you completely ignore that fact? Did the parole board not know? And you want to bring insult to injury. It's that he was only sentenced. This video came up. He was sentenced 2 months before his parole hearing. So if you want to think about that, the victims literally would have just finished giving their victim impact statements April 2nd, 2024. They would have just completed giving their victim impact statements 2 months ago when they would have gotten notified about this man's parole hearing. If you can even imagine an insult to injury, if that's even possible. And that's because he was sitting in jail and he was on bond or whatever. But come on. You know, the DA's dropped the charges. He killed 3 people. 3 people dead. I think none of us, most of us, have no empathy, sympathy, if that's the word, for people who sell laced narcotics with fentanyl. We all know someone that's died from that. Sick. He didn't mention anything. Oh, I did the bush. What were the words that he said? He said helping or sustaining their habit to sustain my habit. Was that what? Well, let me read to you. Thank you, Sir Richard, for the information. When Sir Richard put in the notes that he killed 3 people and he's up for parole 2 months after sentencing, I'm like, what? So this is written April 21st, 2022. After what was described as an intense 21-month investigation, police said 38-year-old man was arrested on Wednesday and charged in connection with a triple fatal overdose in Stanford on July 2020. So they do a intense 21-month investigation, which then the DA apparently just drops the charges, right? The deaths were caused by fentanyl-laced Pepsi, police noted. The Stanford Police Department announced that he was charged with 3 counts of first-degree. That's what he's charged with: 3 counts of first-degree manslaughter and a single count of sales of narcotics. And they just do the plea deal for 3 counts of sale of narcotics. After a brief struggle during his arrest in Phillip Street, Norwalk, Wednesday afternoon, Flores was taken to Stanford Police Department and asked to cooperate in the booking process. According to Captain Richards Franklin of SPD, Flores refused and said, "I have 40 years to do that." Little did he know that he'd be up for parole pretty much right away and facing, what was his total sentence? He knew 40 years. Like, of course, right? He killed 3 people. But no, what's his full sentence? His full sentence is, what was it again? It was 4 years. Maximum 4 years, mind you. His maximum release date is April 20th, 2026. April 20th. Irony in that. And Flores was additionally charged with failure to comply with fingerprinting and booking a photo. Altogether, he was given a bond of $4,500,000. So, you know, the police take it seriously, but for whatever reason, they felt they didn't have enough to win. And remember, they like winning. They like their winning percentages. They don't like justice. The DA's office. On July 16, 2020, at approximately 9:13 a.m., Stanford police responded to a report of 3 unresponsive occupants in a blue Toyota RAV4. Firefighters and medics used multiple doses of Narcan and the medicine that rapidly reverses the effect of narcotic overdose, but 2 occupants were pronounced dead at the scene, police said. The 3rd occupant was taken to the hospital where he later died. During the subsequent investigation, the SPD Narcotics and Organized Crime Unit worked with enforcement agencies, State's Attorney's Office, and the Norfolk Police. Imagine how much it cost. What their 16-month investigation cost. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars. Undercover officers used different techniques such as purchasing fentanyl to develop arrest warrants for Flores. Flores was tracked to a residence on Phillip Street in Norwalk. Coughlin said several days of surveillance with the Norwalk Police Department. Flores was taken into custody after he was seen leaving the home around 4:30 p.m. In a news release Thursday, Conklin thanked various agencies involving the investigation. Narcotics and Organized Crime Unit led investigators Michael, Connor, Canning, and blah, 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 also deserve special recognition for the countless hours and hard work and hundreds of thousands, now I'm just making that up, of taxpayer dollars. This case illustrates the danger of fentanyl is used responsible for the majority of our overdoses, both fatal and non-fatal. The victims were in the belief that they were purchasing Pepsi. And all of that, I just realized I wasn't even in the big screen. I hate doing this. Sorry. I do. What a mockery of everything. A mockery. 3 people dead. They invest all this resources, money, and everything. And then for some reason they're like, yeah, I don't know if we can get him. I mean, a jury might not convict him of the manslaughter charges. So let's just give him 4 years. Parole eligibility 3 months after the judge handing down the sentence. That is weak. And what it comes down to, if you're wondering how is that possible, again, it's because the DAs, this is not me making this up. This is what I've seen DAs say and other people say on other YouTube channels and blah, 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 is that, remember, the DAs, when it comes out, they're elected. And people are very, we're sheeple, we don't really do research into our DAs, and I'm guilty of it too. And, local DAs. And so what's the easiest thing for a DA to do? A DA will if they have any type of competitive environment, would just like to say the very simple thing. I have won 100% of my cases. I've won 99.99% of my cases. That's a simple thing for us sheeple to wrap our minds around. Wow, that DA must be very good. But what does that, and that's it. It's that simple. Now, what's it really mean? It means that they drop any case that they think they can't win. This case, maybe a jury would say, well, he didn't know it was laced. Maybe, there's a bigger dealer's fault. They're going after. He thought maybe if his chance of winning are not high, he'll drop it. Forget the victims. I mean, and the victims weren't here. They say no big. Now, do you think that the victims weren't here because they just chose not to be there? I mean, assuming they each have there's 6 parents, siblings, brothers, anyone who would, children, anyone who might want to have opposition. No, these people, they had nobody. All 3 of them, no one cared to oppose. Or maybe they weren't notified. Maybe they were just exhausted, but I doubt it. From having to give their victim impact statements from the sentencing hadn't even dried yet, and the guy's up for a parole hearing. But that's how it works. And there you have it. It's just a mockery. And with that, I'll let you go.